Hey y'all, what's up? This is Rosey, and it is Saturday morning, June 15th, summer morning, and so I was thinking about what a Saturday might look like 40 years ago, a Gen X Saturday morning, and so everybody knows that kids are nearly impossible to wake up to go to school. I mean, we hated going to school and we hated getting up to go to school. If we could sleep in, we did. In the summer, however, or during any school vacation, we got up in the morning like clockwork. It was no problem not only getting us up, but us staying up all dang day. Now, sleeping in for us was about 8 o'clock. And so we would get up around 7:30 to 8 o'clock and go downstairs. We lived in the projects with my aunt, and we would go downstairs and get us a big bowl of cereal, me and my 3 cousins. And we would all go to the living room. My boy cousin had on his t-shirt and underwear. Me and my 2 girl cousins, we would have on a shirt and panties, and we would all sit in front of the TV and watch the cartoons, stuff like Pac-Man, Mr. T, the Smurfs, stuff like that, Alvin and the Chipmunks, and we would just sing all the theme songs and laugh at all the antics of the cartoons. And then eventually our parents would come down, our moms, and then they would watch the rest of the cartoons with us. And then once the Looney Tunes went off, because the Looney Tunes was usually the last cartoon to come on around 11, 12 o'clock, and then they would turn it on American Bandstand. And then when American Bandstand went off, Soul Train came on, and so we would watch Soul Train. And then once Soul Train went off, we were put out of the house. We had to go outside, and they would sometimes lock the screen door because we could not go in and out. And, they left the door open. A lot of my Gen X peers say that their parents closed and locked the front door, the whole front door, because they weren't letting the air out because they weren't cooling off the neighborhood, which is true if you had AC. Most of the houses I grew up in, however, in the 1980s did not have central heating and air. We just had a heater furnace in the living room. So they would keep the door open to let the breezes go through. The front door and the back door was usually open, and they had a screen door. So those doors were left open, and they would put the latch on to keep us from going in and out. And we had to stay outside, play with our friends, and we had to get away from the house because usually not only was Saturday morning the day for gossip, the day for cleaning up, it was also a day for gossip, and we were not to be in grown folks' conversation. And so we would just go outside, play everything with our friends. We would do our cheers and our hand claps and play stuff like hide and go seek, red light, green light, double dutch. I couldn't double dutch to save my life, but I could jump the hell out of a jump rope. And hopscotch. Hopscotch was one of my favorites. And let's see, what else did we do? Oh, of course we rode our bikes and our skates. I couldn't skate. I could skate a little bit, but I preferred my bike when I got one. And so I hated hide and go seek though, because we would always go around by where my other aunt lived and my other cousins, and by them was this daycare, and by that daycare was a fence, and everybody would go and climb the fence. I couldn't climb a fence to save my life. I could wrap my legs around my neck both at the same time, put it behind my neck. I could do the kickworm and dance, and I could even hula hoop. I could do things with a hula hoop that other kids in the neighborhood could only dream of. But climbing a fence, couldn't do that to save my life. So a lot of times whenever I saw them go and climb the fence, I would just go home, and they would all be like, "Where Rosalind? Where Rosalind?" And then hours later, my cousins come in and see me sitting in the house with my aunt, because by then she had unlatched the door and she was in there by herself. And a lot of times she would put on a vinyl record. Usually it was Thriller. And me and her would be in the living room just either listening to the stereo or dancing along to Thriller, or she would be on her couch taking a nap, and I would be on the love seat taking a nap while the stereo was playing, TV was turned off. And so that was what Saturday morning or Saturdays looked like for me in around 1984-ish. And summers were fun for me. Yeah, I had a hard childhood, I really did, but I cannot sit and pretend like I didn't have good times. And I really did have some good times as a kid. One of my favorite things to do was to go see my dad at my grandma's house. Going to see my dad was always a special time for me because I didn't live with him growing up. My mom raised me, and she was a single mother. And my dad would pick me up sometimes. And so going to see him was special for me. And sometimes he would have my brother over there, my half-brother, and he'd do something like take us to the park. One time he and my stepmom took me to the zoo. My brother wasn't with us at that time. He took me to the zoo. He and my stepmom took me to the zoo, and it was so much fun. And one of the things that I remember is what I call the bird with the afro. I laughed at that bird so hard. I don't think I ever laughed at anything so hard in my life. The one exhibit or one part of the zoo that I could not stand was the elephant and hippo part, because it stunk so bad. It was just that sickening, sweet, yet stinky smell, and it was just so gross. I don't know what that scent was, but still, it was always fun to walk around the zoo. I don't know if I could do that now. The last time I went to the zoo was in June of 2004. And it was June 2005, and it was for my youngest kid's birthday. My mom picked us up and took us to the zoo. But anyway, not talking about that. I'm talking about a Gen X summer. And so, sometimes my dad would pick me up and we would go do something, go to the park, especially if my brother was with us. And my stepmom, who to this day is one of the sweetest people I know, and I love her so much. She's not my stepmom anymore, of course, but I still call her that. She used to sometimes take me to like McDonald's or something, and it was always fun hanging out with her. One particular thing I remember, I don't think this was during the summer, this might have been during fall. I went with her and my aunt, my dad's sister, and I believe 2 other women to this concert that they were holding at the Fair Park Arena, which we don't have that anymore. And it was this soul concert, and it had like the SOS Band, O'Brien, and some other artists that I can't remember. If I can find the listing for that concert at all, I will put a flyer up or something. I'll look online and see if there's anything in the archives for that, but I usually don't count that as a concert because I barely remember it. The only thing I really remember about that day is that it rained. But we were so far up in the stands that I could barely make out the music. I remember the SOS band being on stage, and I remember O'Brien, but like I said, I don't remember the other artists who were there. But yeah, that's how it was for me in the 80s, especially in the summertime. It was a lot of fun back then. And I'm sorry for my voice because I didn't take a drink. I do have one with me. I just didn't want to be rude and take a drink while I'm recording. And I just now did. But what was Saturday like for you, especially in the summertime, growing up? What cartoons did you watch? What was your favorite one? Did you watch Soul Train and American Bandstand? Oh, I forgot to say that one of the things I liked to do when I went outside was if music was playing somewhere, I'll be in the front yard by myself dancing. And I didn't know until years later that my aunt and my mom would sometimes be staring at me, looking at me out the window. And my aunt would be like, "Roz can dance, look at her go." And my mom would have to shush her because if I heard them and knew that they were watching, I'd stop. But yeah, Saturdays were some special times because our parents did spend time with us back then. And yeah, I really enjoyed those times. And so, like I said, what were Saturdays like for you growing up? What did you do? How much fun did you have? What were your favorite cartoons? And when did you have to go outside? Because you know you got put out the house. We all did. But anyways, I'm gonna go from here, you guys. I have nothing else to say. I'm all out of words. As usual, there is a donations link in the description. If you would hit that and help support me and my channel, I would appreciate it. You'll be helping me out more than you could ever possibly realize. I thank y'all so much for wasting time with me. I love you guys so much. I once heard a guy say that you have to build your tribe one person at a time. If you would like to be a part of my tribe, hit that subscribe button. I would be so glad to have you. But for now, I'm gonna go. Hope to see y'all on the next upload. Bye for now.